Okay, today at Crow's Nest Pass at the bottom of Bluff Mountain, a sport climb called Shooting Star. I've never done the whole route, but we're going to do a rope solo demonstration here for the Rock Climbing Mentor Series. I do have a soloist, so I'm going to kind of demonstrate how this works, and basically in real time. So we're going to start with how to rig the soloist. For those of you that have never seen the soloist before, and I think they don't actually even make this anymore, but basically there's a cam inside here, and we'll get to it in a minute, but it's as simple or as complicated as this. And you slide the rope in and then you put this back in, and but we'll get to that, and then we'll get to that in a minute. So first I got a piece of 10 mil, old 10 mil rope to put it on my harness. And I tie this with double fisherman's. Nice, nice solid knot. The rope will break before the double fisherman's fails, so I like the sound of that. So there's the first piece of the puzzle for soloist. And then secondly, you got to have a chest harness. So I just use a doubled over sling, and I do an alpha blast, throw it over my head. I bring it together, and big wide open beaner here, and grab the rope here. So we'll get to the anchoring in a minute, but first, the soloist. So just so you can hear, so free end, this goes down to the anchor. So the side, this goes to my anchor, there, goes in there. We then lay the cam over top, and we've got to carefully line up that hole. There we go. And then we clip the hole, clip this like that, we lock up that beaner, and lo and behold, there we go. This goes to our anchor. So when I climb, it feeds out nicely. When I fall, bang. Okay, so we do have we've got a bit of a unique challenge here, is that there's actually no anchor at the bottom here. So I've got to use that first bolt up there as my anchor. So I've got a solo up there, clip this in with the figure 8 on a bite. That'll be my pull, the locking beaner. That'll be for my upward pull and for a downward. But so I'm going to use the first 2 bolts as my anchor. So it's kind of a special case for when you actually have nothing here. I can fill my pack full of rocks, but this isn't too bad here, so I'm going to be soloing for the first little bit. So we'll kind of show you how that works here in a second. So I've got my locking beaner, figure 8 on a bite there. So I'm gonna basically up here to clip that in for my first piece. So then definitely a little unorthodox, but I don't have any other options right now. So there you go. Kind of just showing you here that that's how it works. Now, okay, so basically I've now got my first piece is up there. This is good for downward, but if I fall, it's a factor 2, right? So I definitely don't want to fall on it. And then with the trailing line, you definitely want to do, an overhand and clip this as a backup, so that, and then if the Soloist fails, I've still got a backup on here. So you want to definitely always be backed up. I'm going to also use the second bolt on the pitch. I'm going to do the same thing, either with the clove hitch or with something else. And so that I've got two bolts, two 3/8 stainless steel bolts for my upward pull for the rest of the pitch. And then I'm going to just clip as I would normally. So up close and personal here, 3/8 stainless. I'm about 15 feet off the ground. I've got the Soloist is actually holding me. I've got to get up to the next bolt. So we'll see if, and then that second bolt is going to be part of my upward pull anchor as well. So I'm going to have two 3/8 stainless steel bolts for an upward pull. So let me get that organized here. Okay, so this is actually live here. You can see I've got the first bolt clipped with a figure 8 on the bite, and I'm leading up to the next bolt. In this scenario, if I come off, I'm going to take a factor 2 onto that first bolt. So definitely the forces are going to be large. So I'm leading up. I want to get to the second bolt so I can clip in, and then that second bolt will be clipped with a clove hitch on a hard line, so that the first two bolts on the pitch, the first two lead bolts, actually become my anchor. Okay, so I've now got my belay set up on the first two bolts. I left this tail here just so that I can get it to the ground. It's easy. Got a figure 8 on a bite here. Not necessarily liking how this is lying, but I don't. It's probably about as good as I'm going to get there for that. And then I come up to the second bolt. I'm going to tighten this up a bit, but I've got a clove hitch up here. So let me just get up to here, and you can see here that I've got a clove hitch here. So these two bolts are stitched together. Normally I wouldn't do it this way, but I don't really have any other options today. There's nothing for gear down there. I'm using the two first bolts as the pitch simultaneously for my downward pull and also for my upward pull for now. Now as I'm climbing, Okay, so now basically I've established the first bolt on the pitch and the second bolt on the pitch as my anchor for my upward pull, but before I clip the third bolt, this second bolt is actually going to hold a downward pull as well. So I'm right now in a factor 2 scenario, even though I'm getting up to the third bolt. The rest of the bolts on the pitch, I'm going to clip normally as though I'm on lead. And the more bolts I clip and the higher I get, the fall factor gets more and more reduced because I've got more and more rope out. So again, this is a special case. Nevertheless, I had really no other options here. So once again, in summary, we got 2 bolts for my primary anchor, one there, one here. This is clove hitch, locked gate. I've actually got it under load now, so you can see I'm hanging off the first 3/8 stainless steel bolt up there, which is clipped normally as you would lead, and I'll clip the rest way up for the rest of the pitch. And you can see the Soloist is holding me here. I've got it backed up overhand with some extra line here. That's basically it for rope soloing. I'll wrap the pitch. You know, when you're rope soloing, if you're doing a multi-pitch, you got to lead it, you got to clean it, and then you got to reclimb it, either free or on Jumars, depending on you know what you want to do that day. You know, lots of people like to do the free climbing twice. Some people, I've done both. I've climbed the pitches twice on the rock, and I've also climbed them once and then Jumar'd. It's a personal choice, but that's basically rope soloing with the Soloist. You can also, there are other ways to do this, you know, with knots, and there's some other devices, but this is basically the Soloist. So, I'm going to continue on up here, and so I'm back on the ground. Wrapped the pitch, cleaned it, left directionals in as I needed, and now I'm ready to, if I'm on a multi-pitch, I got to reclimb the pitch. So actually, when you're rope soloing on a multi-pitch, every single pitch, you're covering the ground 3 times. You're climbing it once, you're wrapping down, you're climbing it again. So now I can Jumar, but I'm going to climb here. So you can also use the Soloist for top roping, just in exactly the same way. So the anchor is above me now, so I've got to lay the rope in the bottom here like this. Give myself some slack there, and put the cam back in, and get that wind up, and then clip this, lock the gate, and now I can use this as a top rope. So as I climb up, eventually the weight of this rope will be able to pull itself through, or I can, you know, I can tie it down, but basically kind of take the rope up as I climb here, like sort of like this. You know, it'll be like this, and then I gotta kind of take it in, and And then if I come off, take up the slack here. So there we go. So that's if I come off. Eventually the weight of the rope hanging below me will pull through on its own. And just basically start up and carry on.